And welcome back to part 9 of What If Goku Had a Sister. So we're pretty much going to be closing out this one in this episode because all the events that would take place, not going to be very long to go over them. So we go into the Resurrection F arc. Now, obviously you have Goku training with Whis. Now the question is, does both Maze and Raditz go with Goku? But Kakarot. I actually am inclined to say no. I don't believe both of them go. I don't think Whis is. I mean, technically speaking, I don't think Whis has a problem with training them both. But I think Maze is more comfortable just hanging around, doing her own thing. And it's like you can just tell me about what you learned after you come back. So yeah, Raditz and Kakarot would be the ones to train. They both would, because they both have Super Saiyan. They both had Super Saiyan Blue. I think also we'd be seeing them trying to mix Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue with the Ikari form, because we know they have an Ikari Super Saiyan form. Basically the Grade 8 multiplier. So we know we have that. Kakarot still has trouble going to Super Saiyan Primal, Super Saiyan Primal. So it's a difficult combo to do with that, but that's not to say he still might not do it. Just a matter of training. Now, it should be noted also, Goku does not have instant transmission in this form. So when Frieza attacks Earth, he can't just immediately transport himself like he did in the original. But that's assuming that Frieza attacked Earth or that Frieza came back at all. Because here's the thing. Frieza had history with Goku and Vegeta and all of them and with Earth in the original series. You've got no beef with Earth. He doesn't even, I doubt he even knows Earth. I think Earth is just a planet in their chart. He doesn't know anything about the other people who live there or anything like that. I think at best he knows that Vegeta had gone there at one point. That's about it. The place they do have beef with is Namek. Plus, they don't even know that Earth has Dragon Balls. So they know that Namek does, and then they eventually go back to Namek, maybe even try to collect Dragon Balls to bring Frieza back. So this unfortunately leads to a problem on Frieza Force's part. Now let's be clear. No one in the Frieza Force really was above the high teens, maybe high 20 or low 20s in terms of their power level, in the thousands, mind you. Even if they collected them, and I think Nails probably keeps an eye on more, and Nails probably trained quite a bit too, since the original time that he and Frieza duked it out. His power is probably increased. He's probably not Piccolo levels of power like where Piccolo would be in the series, but he's very capable. So he could easily crush all of Frieza's force. Let's just assume that Nail just says, yeah, go ahead. Let him have the Dragon Balls. It's like, what, Nail, are you? Mm-hmm. Oh, and then Mori realizes, oh yeah, well, very well, you may have the Dragon Balls. And they say, Dragon Rise! Why isn't it working? Yeah, you must say it in Namekian. Do you know Namekian? Yeah, I didn't think so. So now we're going to take our Dragon Balls back, and you get one chance to leave. You will bow before the might of Lord Frieza! Lord Frieza will be resurrected! You will! And then it's like, alright, you had your chance. And Nail pretty much just slaughters the Frieza Force. It's hilarious when you think about it. So, really, the Resurrection F arc doesn't happen. Eventually, Raditz and Kakarot just come back to Earth after getting some more training in. I think they come back to Earth for the initial, just showing up there, and, reveal what they've learned. And I think Maze does go with them the second time around when they're training when Champa shows up. Now, her training, I think Champa would look at her, because he's seen female Saiyans before, knows that they're a thing, and is just like, oh, who are these? Like, yeah, they're so weak, brother. I was like, yes, well, and that might surprise you. And then basically they set the Universe 6 tournament, which would have on their team Maze, who at this point can only really go Super Saiyan God, Goku and Kakarot and Raditz, obviously. Then who else do we have on the team? Well, Monaka's obviously going to be thrown in there. We don't have Boo in this arc version, and Piccolo is pretty powerful, but he's nowhere near his actual strength he is in this original series. So I think they actually might go and request Android 17's help, because they're probably on a better speaking terms with 17 in this version than they were in the original, and because 16 helped manages the crap out of that island with, or Rangers the crap out of that park with him. 16, being an android, doesn't have to sleep, eat, or anything. He probably rests every now and then. to keep his batteries recharged and everything. But he doesn't need to sleep or eat technically, so he probably lives on the island. Like legitimately, he doesn't need to go off the island at all, and he is constantly protecting the island. So 17 is actually capable of leaving the island a bit more often than 16 is. So I think 17 would be the fourth man they get to participate. Now, obviously, it starts with the same Kakarot and Batama. That goes the same. The Kakarot and Frost fight goes about the same. Kakarot really only shows off Super Saiyan. Actually, I doubt he even show off Super Saiyan. He probably would only show off a Kari form because, like anyone else, any other version of Goku, he's testing his opponent out, kind of like what he did against Jiren, form after form after form after form until he goes into the strongest form he has. And in a Kari form, he'd probably easily trounce. And the Kari form is 10 times multiplier. Probably easily trounce Frost if not for the cheating of that. So now it's 17 who goes up against him. And here's the thing. We don't know if because let's be clear, the androids are not androids. They're cyborgs. They're technically human, which is why 18 and 17 are able to have kids. So we don't know if poisons affect them the same way they affect normal people. If I were to be a betting man because they are enhanced humans, cyborgs, it might still affect them, but it wouldn't have as big of an effect to the point where when 17 gets hit again by Frost, who, by the by, he would probably trounce Frost. His barrier alone would be, he could doubt Frost could get through that. So by the time he actually does manage to tag him, 17 is staggering, but he's actually still coherent, and he actually says, he cheated. It's like he's got something in his arm, and eventually they disqualify him. So then you get on to the Batama fight, which again Kakarot gets reinstated. 17 versus Batamo. That was it. Batamo came first, or was it Kaba? I think it was Batamo. That fight, that's a pretty intense fight because he keeps raising up the heat, and even 17's like, I won't be able to get through this. And basically, his shield is able to, withstand the brunt of Megiddo's attacks, which is a lot, but it's not able to, keep the heat out. So, 17 is really having to struggle, but he does trap Megiddo in a sphere. And I think he would also say offhandedly calling him a bucket of bolts or scrap metal, tin man, whatever. And, a chopo. Just falls down. It's like, really? That was it? All right, fine. And remember, they technically have infinite stamina. So he's not winded per se, although he is catching his breath because he was overheating something fierce. With Kaba, I think he actually just and doesn't even fight Kaba, or he does fight Kaba, but he actually surrenders, just because it's just I'm a little winded right now. I'm probably gonna lose otherwise, so I'm actually gonna just forfeit this match. Whoever wants it next can have it. And this time it's Maze who goes up. Maze is just interacting with Kaba, and they're having a good match. And she's actually like, oh come on, a cute guy like you shouldn't be so serious all the time. He's like, cute? He's like, oh, that was a dirty trick. What a dirty trick? I think you're cute. And then she punches him again. Doesn't mean I'm not going to kick your ass. Because someone had brought this pairing up. I'm like, that one actually makes sense. It does. So Kaba and her are kind of flirt fighting. Then she powers up to her Kari forms. Like, what kind of, and he's, now here's the thing. Kaba and Vegeta even says they were about equal in power, believe it or not. That was what was impressive about how powerful Kaba was. The Universe 6 Saiyans, naturally speaking, I think are stronger than the Universe 7 Saiyans. It's just that the Universe 7 Saiyans had a different evolutionary path than the Universe 6 Saiyans. So they had more advantages, including activating Super Saiyan for the first time. But one thing, even if he activates Super Saiyan, she has her Akari form and Akari Super Saiyan form. So she activates she actually just goes straight to Super Saiyan, just starts to beat on him. He doesn't know, he doesn't know how to do it. And she basically goes with the whole tingling back explanation. God, that was such a stupid explanation, but whatever. And he eventually does hit Super Saiyan, and then they go toe-to-toe again. It's like, looks like, and I think, he is stronger than she is. Ultimately, he is stronger. And, she's realized that too. It's like, it's over. She grabs his hand, and immediately just boom, bumps up to Akari Super Saiyan, which is a 500 times multiplier, and just like, yeah, sorry, it is over. It's like, what the? And then she just gut checks him like Vegeta did. But when it's over, maybe we should get something to eat. And she kind of just gives him and kind of whispers a little, a little seductively in his ear, and he's just like, and it's like, I really don't know how to feel right now. He just collapses over. So then it's Hit versus Maze, and Hit versus Maze, unfortunately, does not go in Maze's favor. Maze pulls out all the stops. Akari Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan. She does go into her God form, and does briefly put off Hit, but Hit took on Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta because he showed off that power. So he quickly adjusts to it. Then it's Rad's turn, going to Super Saiyan Blue, and again, overtaking Hit a little bit, but Hit eventually adjusts. Then it goes to Kakarot, who immediately goes into Super Saiyan Blue. And again, they're adjusting, going back and forth with each other. And it's Kakarot who's really figured out how, like he did in the original one, to counteract Hit. So eventually Hit starts to progress. Like, I haven't really practiced much with this. There's a chance it could even wreck my body, but I've got to try. Now you're thinking, what? How does he get the Kaioken? Remember, he's got one other multiplier that he can add on to his other forms. All of a sudden, his muscles bulk up, his hair grows spikier, more wild, and his eyes. Now, here's the thing: with Akari, you get the kind of the ape like yellow eyes with a black pupil. But remember, Super Saiyan Blue has just straight blue eyes. So you mix that, you get this weird green eyes with a pupil. A black pupil, and his hair is spikier, his muscles blows. Akari Super Saiyan Blue is what Kakarot has basically achieved, and it's an automatic 10 times multiplier. So he just rushes in, just boom, goes right into Hit, and basically starts the smackdown. Again, it's Hit and him, and Hit can want to continue to improve. Eventually, basically what happens is the exact same thing that happened prior. Kakarot gives up, the Monarcha thing happens, and all's well said and done. So we move into the Zamasu Black arc, or Goku Black arc, Zamasu arc. Here's the thing here. Goku Black is still a thing. I think this is Goku Black we're dealing with. Remember, multiverse and different timelines. I think it's Goku Black. Not Kakarot Black, but Goku Black. So when Goku Black actually does eventually show up, Goku shows off Super Saiyan, and they go toe-to-toe. Goku Black was actually still holding a bit of an edge there, but when Goku started taking it seriously at Super Saiyan 2, he was pretty much winning the fight at that point. Goku then shows off Akari instead, which Black does not know what this is. Like, I know he's Kaioken. What is Pentagon? And then he just beats the living crap out of him, is able to get back, but the amount of damage he took, he got his bell rung a bit. Just what the hell? Urgh. Now he does get a Zenkai because he's in Goku's body. So when it's me, Raditz and Kakarot and Trunks go into the future. I do think May stays behind. She's the third strongest, and therefore they need someone as backup just in case something goes wrong. So they show up. He shows up Super Saiyan Rose. Raditz and him go toe-to-toe for a little bit. Raditz is trying to pull off the Akari Super Saiyan Blue as well, but he can't really go full Akari. I think he can only do a partial transformation with Akari. And because of that, it's because the nature of the power they're using combining with God Ki, it's very unstable and fickle. So, when trying to do it, he instead, unfortunately, goes into his ape form and just... And unfortunately, the amount of power coursing through him instead basically causes him to rampage a bit, and Goku just Kakarot has to come in and knock him out. It's like, what happened? Unfortunately, it doesn't look like my brother can handle that power yet. What is this power? You can just go into ape form? Yeah, but we've learned to kind of use a bit of a different power now. And he just powers up again into Akari Blue, and then he immediately bum rushes Goku Black, who is not prepared for this power. Like, we barely saw Goku use Kaioken against Goku Black and Zamasu. When he did, he generally was actually able to overwhelm them. So we know at that point it was still something that was a little iffy with him, but we know that for a fact that he can use it in that form, and that when he did, the boost overwhelmed them. And again, it's a 10 times multiplier. Kakarot probably would start out a little bit when he realizes that it's equal footing. He needs an extra bump, then go into Akari, and then he basically just overwhelms it. Even does the Broly thing where he just starts grinding them in, grinding Black's face in a dust. And then I think we get the quick reveal now as Black's pissed off. If only you could have put up more of a fight when protecting your family, Goku. Oh, do you prefer Kakarot, you Negan, you mortal scum? What do you mean? And then he explains how he took his body and killed his family. We get that early on, which is like, and then Goku's like, all right, I was hoping to get a good fight. But, and then not only does he have a Kari, he rage boosts. It's like, but you killed my family. You killed Gohan. Chi-Chi, Goten! Then he just basically starts powering up. Just, then Akari plus a rage boost. He just suddenly appears and just puts a smackdown on Goku Black. Zamasu appears and then basically explains the evil plan and everything like that. What's going on? But Kakarot's having none of it. Just blast him straight out of the sky. Boom! Now Zamasu's immortal, so he's like, didn't even let me finish talking. Infinite immortal. All of a sudden, Goku Black comes, boom, smacking into him. What are you doing? And he just sees Goku Black is effed up right now. Just, and then basically Goku is just raging out. It's like, screw this, you are. And all of a sudden, the Akari and everything that is just, he's compressing everything. Then he basically just red and purple, blue and red mixed together to make a purple. All of a sudden, there's a Super Saiyan hair color we haven't seen yet, purple. Kakarot is just there in a brief, and this is all pure rage and just wanting to destroy the crap out of him at this point. He's in Super Saiyan God Primal, which would look essentially like Gogeta, but the fur would be redder from GT. And he just comes in and just blasts Zamasu and Goku Black. Zamasu tries to get in the way, but here's the thing. His body's indestructible, but it could theoretically be temporarily destroyed and then just reforms. So it basically just incinerates his body temporarily, and then Black, and he wastes Black. He just destroys Black because this version of Kakarot has some level of different power than the original did. Unfortunately, he then completely craps out and just passes out. And it's like, you insolent little Trunks then goes in and basically stabs Zamasu. Just kind of like, get him out of here, Raditz, let's go! It's like, and basically, I'll hold him off. And then basically the Raditz and Kakarot have to get out of there. They get some Samazumis, explains what happens. Zamasu is clearly immortal. But they get the Mafaba. I think Maze makes them wait for Roshi's tag. They go back. Zamasu's basically been dealing with Trunks the whole time. And let's be clear, power-wise, Zamasu was not that strong compared to them. It's just that he had immortality at that point. So eventually, they come back, and I think they do succeed in sealing him up with the Mafaba. So that leads us into the final arc, the Tournament of Power. We'll touch on Broly a little bit, but not a huge amount would probably change. So with the more training and time passing, Maze has achieved Super Saiyan Blue. I do think Raditz has a Super Saiyan Blue Akari, and Goku has at least, he can at least go into Super Saiyan God Primal. Just can't maintain it for very long. So we get the tournament arc, we get Raditz, I think Raditz, Maze, and Kakarot would be the ones there. I think Maze faces off against Basil. Actually, it'd probably be Raditz who faces off against Basil. Their fight goes in Raditz's favor. I think, unfortunately, it's a tie between him and Lavender and Maze, though. And then the fight with Bergamo and Kakarot, that goes basically the same. And then Topo shows up, and that goes the same. So then you have to basically form your team. We already know Goku, Kakarot, Maze, and Raditz are going to be on the team. 17 and 18, that's pretty much a given. Krillin, that's a given. Roshi, that's a given. So you got your 7 right there. Piccolo is not as strong as, say, he normally would be, but he's still pretty strong. So that's another given. And then you have 16. However, there is one other candidate for this, and that is Nail. Nail's still there, and I think we should even point out that there is the planet Namek actually does have one exceptional warrior. He may even surpass you, Piccolo. What? And then basically they quickly visit Namek, And basically revealing this, I was like, I am Lord Beerus, Lord Destroyer. And basically explaining scenarios. Like, oh man, we're going to have to do. I'm not even sure your power will be enough, but it'll be something. And then Piccolo meets Nail for the first time. And they have a conversation about what we need to do. It's like, are we going to be strong enough? 2 Namekians, is that going to be enough? And then Nail basically says there is something we can do. Namek's been protected. We've used our Dragon Balls to make several wishes in order to ensure the protection. Ever since Frieza's forces tried to come to destroy the planet. Just Rad's like, Frieza's dead? Yes, and his father. I'm glancing over this, but I think Cold would eventually have tried to see what happened to his son, and unfortunately would have met the untimely end of going to Namek, especially after Nail had been training for years on end. So that, I think, is what happens with King Cold. But basically what it is that they suggest we do the Namekian fusion. It's like, are you sure that's wise? It's like, we might not have a choice in this. Kami also, who's still around, by the way, says that it's probably your best bet. And there's one more thing we can do, Piccolo. I was like, wait, you're not saying? Yes, we must become one again. What about your own guardianship? A new guardian can be picked, Piccolo. Or can be picked, can be selected, Piccolo, but not if the universe is erased. So, basically, they agree. It's a 3-way fusion. Basically, at this point, Piccolo gets Nail, Kami, and fusing them again. But remember, he's fusing with Kami, which would automatically double his power. They're twice the individual. That's stated. But what actually happens is he decides to fuse with Nail first, add that power, whatever the multiplier actually was on that. Because Nail's around 41, 42. There's no actual official power level for Piccolo when he comes to Namek, but it's believed to be like around 100,000, somewhere in that, because even Nail was impressed by it. And he at least did like a times 10 multiplier on top of that, just given the fact he was able to go toe-to-toe with Frieza, whose power was over 1 million. Nail probably in the upper 100, and maybe in the lower 100 millions, which would have been probably, given whatever his power is, it was enough to take out King Cold. The boost he gets with Piccolo and then the boost he gets with Kami really quickly levels the playing field with him and everyone else. Piccolo this whole time has kind of been a side character, but he's really kind of become a good, he's really bonded with Gohan over the years. He's got a good relationship. He's actually got a good relationship overall with people. So Piccolo that is basically now souped up and ready to go. And then you'll get Tien. So you get Tien, Roshi, and Krillin, Piccolo, 16, 17, and 18. And then you get Raditz, Maze, and Kakarot. Now, we only got some... I can finish this up. We'll start a new one on Sunday. Seems like only yesterday. But I digress. So we get to the start of the tournament. And the Saiyans, unfortunately, go off on their own. So does 17. Now, 16, like everyone else, stays within the group. I think that is a given. And really... they do start picking off people one by one, and Universe 9 probably stays in the game a bit longer, but they're still taken out first. Same, unfortunately, with second with Universe 10. Although the person who ultimately takes them out isn't Gohan, replacing Gil, the only cool member of Universe 10. It would probably be someone more akin to, I think it would be Piccolo, honestly, who would do it. He's, sees that, he had a family and everything along those lines, thinks of Gohan and, Pan and Videl, and, just kind of laments on that. A lot of the fights would still go similar, although Maze would kind of single out Kaba for a little bit. They'd talk a bit, maybe fight together. She'd say, after this, don't worry, we'll make sure to bring you back when it's all said and done. It's like, all right, fine. Well, stop flirting. It's like, oh, but it's fun. And she kind of gives him a wink. It's like, she hasn't met many guys where she could literally flirt legitimately, so it's kind of fun. You get the whole Caulifla versus Goku fight, Kakarot fight. And like, yeah, well, how do you do that blue thing you did? It's like, show me that, they'll beat your ass with it. Really? Wow, Caulifla's character waned on me. At first, it's like, okay, Caulifla's cool. Then I'm like, oh god, that bravado, that honestly, that false sense of superiority really started to grate on me after a while. So, she challenges Kakarot, and I think, by the way, at this point, they probably all do have Super Saiyan 2 on them. It's just a matter of Akari doesn't blend well with Super Saiyan 2. Like, especially not like if Goku or Kakarot, any of them had managed Super Saiyan 3, there's no way you could add Akari onto that. Just like you can't add God Ki onto that because of the nature of what Super Saiyan 3 is versus what Super Saiyan Blue is. Or Super Saiyan God Ki is. So anyway, they're going back and forth. He instead is going to use a Super Saiyan. He's a Super Saiyan 2, and back and forth for a little bit. He shows off Super Saiyan 2. You get the Kale going berserk, and he actually somewhat recognizes this power because it's similar to the Akari power. It's like, what? How is she able to do this? And then basically goes into Super Saiyan Blue, and then nothing. Jiren takes her out. So really, most of this is going to go the same. It's just with different characters involved. In fact, a couple of universes might be taken out quicker just due to the fact that you have someone like 16 there who's very analytical and just taking out opponents. So I actually think he'd be strategic in taking out individuals like Universe 3 a bit more. Like, I don't think you get Annie Raza again. When you get the smarter individuals participating, you don't get Annie Raza. So it was still a fun villain. So most of it goes the same for a while. You'll get Krillin knocked out. You'll get Tien knocked out. You'll get Roshi knocked out. It might be a little later down the line, but you'll still get him knocked out. Now you don't get the Frost and Frieza combo. What instead happens, I think, is either Maze or Raditz comes in and just clocks Frost right out of the ring. Because he's a trickster and they need to get him out of there. Ultimately, we fast forward to the Goku versus Jiren fight, or the Kakarot versus Jiren fight in this case. And that starts off the stain, Kamehameha, nothing. Goes Akari, nothing. Goes Super Saiyan, nothing. Goes Super Saiyan 2, nothing. Akari Super Saiyan, nothing. Again, he's like barely moving. Super Saiyan God, nothing. Akari Super Saiyan God, nothing. Or, well, not nothing, but, he's stopping. And eventually he goes Super Saiyan Blue and adds Akari on there. And basically, they're going toe-to-toe now. Now, remember, even if he's a little stronger, Kakarot was doing Super Saiyan Blue times 20 Kaioken, and he barely was able to tag Jiren. He still did manage to tag him once or twice, but he was barely able to do it. And now, at the last deception, he goes Super Saiyan God Primal, which I think is enough power that Jiren actually has to take him a little seriously now. Like, more seriously than he was doing. Goku doesn't just tag him. He gets a legitimate shot in on him at that point when going to Super Saiyan God Primal. And Jiren actually goes, okay, now I have to take you seriously. And then starts beating the crap out of him again. So, he doesn't know the Spirit Bomb in this version. That's a problem. Because that combined with everything else is what kind of, was able to, what's the best term? Was able to allow Ultra Instinct to happen. So what is going to happen? Is Goku just, Goku's just going to struggle on? I think what happens is eventually Raz and Maze both come in and it's basically sibling tag team. They all basically go to their strongest forms. Kakarot again is in Super Saiyan God Primal. He's still flexing that. You get Akari Blue, Reds, and I think you get Akari Blue, Maze. And they basically all just like tagged. And now all these individuals are now on a level of power where Jiren it's a three-way fight, and Jiren has to take them at least some bit seriously, particularly Goku, who is the strongest one. It still just isn't enough, and they're just struggling. I think, unfortunately, Maze, being the weakest of three, is the one who gets knocked out first. Like, Maze! And now it's just, now Maze being knocked out. It's like, we need to do something fast. And, well, what are we supposed to do? And basically, the question comes down to, because they've probably know about the Platara, but they've never had to use it. And basically, now, Raz being the trickster of the two of them, says, hey, Xenos! Like, yeah? You want to see something really cool? Yeah, super cool! Shin, let us your earrings! Oh, what? That's outside interference. It'll lead to something really cool. That's basically how it is. That's how you get away with stuff. It's cool, so we'll allow it. It's like, and basically Grand Priest says, oh yes, the Platara allowed them to fuse into a greater warrior. Oh, that sounds really cool. I want to see that. And then basically it's like, it's Kakarot and Raditz turning into Kakarot's Rato. Rado. Ooh, Rado's not bad. Rado. And basically, they now go into Super Saiyan God Primal. And they're even adding on a Kari onto that, just an extra little boost, even though it's technically the same power. Just boom! And basically, it's them going toe-to-toe with Jiren. Now, their powers combined, plus that added on there, now it's a level of power Jiren has to contend with that wasn't prepared. He didn't think there'd be anyone else this strong in the tournament. So he's now they're having a legitimate fight. Meanwhile, the universes are duking out. They know they won't have a lot of time either, just because they can even feel their power draining. So basically, they have to pull out a showstopper fast. And what it is they basically, Jiren lands a solid shot, but they disappear. Suddenly grab him and basically just Kamehame and suddenly grab him, just blast him point blank, and basically just take him out of the ring with him. Jiren's struggling to hell. It's like blasting with his eye blast. He's getting a blast in the face point blank. Just and basically they blast him in the face real quick, and they just take his ass out of the ring along with him. Jiren is still pretty capable of fighting, but the problem is they just knocked him out of the ring. So Raditz, Maze, and Kakarot together barely did it, and Jiren's now pissed off, but he knows he can't do anything. So now it's just everyone else. So all the humans are gone, all the Saiyans are gone. Who do you have left? You have the androids, you have Piccolo. That's it. So it's an interesting little dilemma we got going on here now, don't we know? But here's the thing. I think they actually would ultimately win because, first off, Anti-Roz is now happening. Kale and Caulifla, 17, 18, Piccolo, and 16 are very tactical individuals. So they would be exploiting weaknesses all which way they could while avoiding being knocked out. Eventually they have to knock out Calba, which sucks. Hit's the only one that's going to be a real problem for him in this way. Hit and Topo. Topo, not so much because they did overwhelm Topo in the original. The only reason he even went into God Destruction form is because, if you're going to fight dirty, whatever. So Topo, I think, actually wouldn't give as much trouble as Hit does. I think ultimately, though, Hit gives him the win because I think ultimately what happens is, first off, 17 having a barrier helps out a lot. And plus, I think Hit would actually be a big target of some of the other universes as well. So like Dispo, for instance, like eventually he almost flat out beats Hit, but Hit was able to figure him out. That still happens, but Dispo and say Topo teaming up against Hit, that's a problem for Hit. So ultimately, I think Hit maybe takes out Dispo himself, but it has to do it by sacrificing himself, a la what just happened with Goku, Maze, Kakarot, Maze, and Raditz. So that takes Hit out of the equation. So ultimately, it just comes down to the remaining 4, or however many remain, taking the rest of the universe out. And I think they do that ultimately. They wish back the other universes. The Broly fight, I think you'll still get the same scenario, except it's Gogeta or Regeta, whatever. Instead of Rado, it'd be Kakariz. So ultimately, though, that's where we're going to end with this this series. Join us on Sunday for the next, whatever one it was, the new one. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks next time.